It's another edition of KFC Radio on the Barstool Sports Network, and I realized something about myself, John. I'm like a totally different person when I have a TV show that I enjoy that's like popping off.
Okay.
It's like my sport. It's like when all these guys around here, like their sport comes in season, and it's time for them to do their thing. It's never scheduled for me. I never know when it's going to be. And it's actually been a little while. There's been a lot of good shows recently, but not many discussion shows. Mm-hmm. It's certainly not week to week. Like even shows you could be discussing, people binge on their own speed and their own time, so there's no time to discuss it. The Undoing being back, and The Undoing being like that's something I was, over the last 6 weeks, I would just grab my phone and text somebody and be like, but what about the hammer? You know, just like throwing things out there. And
I think it was even less than 6 weeks, though. I think
people caught up big time.
There were some people who were like, episode 1 I was in.
Yeah.
I don't think I got in until episode 3, so it was really like a 3-week show.
You know what it was? It was the microcosm of Breaking Bad. Remember how nobody watched Breaking Bad until like season 4? And then everybody binged and caught up.
Yeah.
They did that, but just rather than seasons, it was just weeks.
Right.
Like I started, I missed the premiere, but I watched it that week, so I was like pretty much on it week to week, and I feel like people really started to watch.
It was an ultimate tipping point where it was just like some people had talked about it. They've been like a whisper here or there. Oh, you should probably check out this show.
I think.
And then
right?
before last
night, are we
night,
in our echo chamber?
No,
is this popular?
Last night, like,
I mean, once I saw Travis Scott tweeting about it, I thought that was a little funny. And getting a response, like a lot of people being like, "Yeah, like who did it?"
A lot of people were tweeting about it yesterday. Like, it's finale day, like,
and that's also just the nature of a murder mystery. Like, you can do, like I was saying, a show like Succession is awesome, but there's no, it can go in any direction because we're talking about business and family and shit. Like, when there's a murder, you know, there's going to be an arrest and who did it, you know what I mean? So you know there's a natural like progression of what's about to happen. You can get surprised and twists and shit, but a murder mystery is like good old faithful for a reason because it gets the people going.
Oh, who done it?
Who done it?
I don't even like call them murder mysteries.
Yeah,
They're who done it.
Who done it? And there's a difference, by the way. I think like this show, The Undoing was great because it was entertaining. It wasn't great necessarily because it was like incredible writing. It was too short to have that deep of character development. The dialogue wasn't like, whoa. There was one scene, we agreed, the Donald Sutherland scene where he gave the cocksucker monologue. That was the only time that I was ever like, whoa, that was some acting. That was some like delivery. Other than that, it was just
a lot of nice jackets.
A lot of ridiculous jackets.
A lot of nice jackets.
The 15-pounder from Nicole. That's like a walking gravity blanket.
Hey, I need one.
But
I have so many problems with the show, and I loved it so much.
Exactly.
Like every episode,
for sure not. Is it awesome? Yup.
Every episode, I had a major.
I was actually surprised you liked it as much as like by the finale because you were always on every plot hole. Like, what the fuck is this?
There's so many things that didn't make sense. You know what the biggest one was? Not the biggest.
The biggest one is the Cleveland trip. That makes no sense.
But like I think he was. That one I can kind of get.
Was he planning on?
I think
he
was just he was just gonna maybe not even take her there. Maybe just like he was gonna be fun. He never went to Cleveland. I think he was just gonna be like he was going away to Cleveland. He was just gonna stay at her studio.
Yeah.
But the biggest one, or the one that made me first go, all right, there might be some issues with this writing, is when Elena. Which I can't tell if he just says it Elena or is her name.
They said Elena at one point.
It's Elena, like
last night.
It's spelled
the
Elena.
lawyer said Elena.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was calling her Elena the whole time, and I was like, wait, I think her name's just Elena, and he says it British.
Yeah.
But when she sees Nicole Kidman in the bathroom, and she says, "Sometimes I just feel so lost and something else, lost and depressed, maybe or something like that." She's like, "Does that ever happen to you?" Like. That's like asking a medical doctor, like, sometimes I get a cough. Like, that is, you're talking to a therapist.
Psychologist.
Like,
yeah.
She understands what that stuff is like. It is like
alone and depressed. Yeah.
Sometimes
fucking heard of it.
Sometimes I sneeze. Does that ever happen to you? Like, it is the most basic thing that happens to me. Yes.
There was a lot of those moments where it was like, but that's not like the point, you know, like that show was clearly
the fucking the public defendant was bullshit.
Yeah.
Absolute bullshit.
But also, I was waiting for that to mean something. I was waiting for that guy to come back around.
Right, you could have skipped it altogether.
That if that was not in the plot, it would have been. That makes me feel like the lawyer, the black lawyer, was like unavailable to shoot for like the first 2 weeks or something like that.
Yeah.
Like it's like something like there's just no explanation to have this public. I thought eventually that guy was going to come back because they also introduced him in a way where like. You kind of got to look into what he was about. You know what I mean? Maybe that was just to set the tone of he didn't do it. Because he was like, I get the vibe that your husband's a dick, but he's not a murderer. maybe that for some people that was like a clincher that he was innocent. But there was no reason for that.
It's just completely unrealistic.
Nicole Kidman walks. No reason for that.
Yeah.
But except for, I think the only thing this show did, and I think 6 episodes was short, but I think if you almost go back, I bet every single episode introduced one plot point that could make another person a suspect.
Oh, for sure.
Every single episode was like, okay, it's the friend. Nope. It's the grandpa. Nope.
But
it's the kid. Nope. It could be Nicole Kidman. So by the end of it, I mean, I have never seen a show, good or bad, well written, whatever you want to say. I have never seen a show with that many plausible.
But I actually could never decide if that was good writing or bad writing. Like it couldn't be everybody.
Yeah.
There was never
It's unique though. I've never seen a show like that.
I don't think
even when people, except for I saw somebody say like it's gonna be the principal. I was like
the headmaster,
pop,
and I never understood why it would have been Sylvia either. We had no evidence to support that.
So many people
were like, "Oh, it's the blonde
that.
friend." Like,
well, because
why?
they did such a job of like just sprinkling her in. I actually thought that ended up being one of the best parts of the show. They did introduce the blonde lawyer. Always in very like ominous ways. Like she would just like the camera would like zoom in on her, or she would just appear, and that's why I think people were going like, there's something going on with her. I bet she did it, and then it just turned out that she was wildly important for this like backstabbing double cross thing, and that's why like she needed to be in the show. I thought that was actually like they did a good job of utilizing her, but every single explanation, other than the truly stupid ones, were like, all right, I don't agree with you, but like I could see that, like that. Maybe that person did hide the weapon. Maybe they are covering it up. So when you have like a murder mystery where in the end it was almost Knives Out-esque, where it was like everybody had motive, everybody had a reason, and almost.
But Knives Out was like good writing,
and it was funny. Like,
and this isn't bad writing. As I'm not like turning into an expert here.
Six hours is like almost not enough time. I don't think they were like trying to be that. I think they just wanted to be like a dramatic, sexy, murderous mystery, and like there you go. Done.
And there
Mission
are
accomplished.
so many things. There's so many things that are unrealistic. I can't.
Yeah, I mean everything that happened in court, I'm sure was
court was insane. But just the fact that he's out of money, that doesn't make any sense. Like he needed to have a gambling
oncologist and a New York City therapist whose father also seems to be like Bruce Wayne rich, like living in a fucking palace.
Like they just take a helicopter to chase him down.
That the final I could have done without the helicopter chase. Right. We went off the fucking rails there.
It's just Brian Cox in Succession.
Yeah, like you need to be like a maven. You need to be like a fucking titan of industry to just hop in your private helicopter. Get the chopper, gas it up. We got to go on an Amber Alert chase. I mean, there was definitely some weird shit.
Me and one of my buddies have been like nonstop to be like, I want to see the books. There's no like he could have retired. Like that's how rich he was. Mm-hmm. He was an oncologist, the kind of oncologist who's on the cover of New Yorker magazine, and is one of the finest in the city. Like you can retire. With 3 months, you're out of money. Yeah. 3 months,
right? It makes no sense.
It makes absolutely no sense.
As did many things, but
okay. Of all the things, what made the lead? We'll focus on the last episode. Like I thought it was all. It's weird. I think it was. I enjoyed it all. I found it all entertaining. But they were
the one thing that I thought was silly, but could have been okay, but then they botched was Nicole Kidman going on the stand, because I'm sure in general a lawyer would be like. I think at one point the lawyer even says like I can't get a read on you. She
goes
like I know what you're about, but I don't know what you're about. Right?
From one thing to another, she goes, I like where we're at. We're good. We're very good. And she goes, Nicole Kidman goes, well, I'll go on the stand. Like, well, I don't even understand like where you stand on this.
Yeah.
And she goes, well, I'll say you didn't do it. And she's like, all right, done. So,
yeah.
Like you just said you liked where you were.
She goes, I'm a reliable narrator. I thought that was almost like breaking the fourth wall, because like fans were saying that there's a chance she might be in on it because she's an unreliable narrator. It's like, if anything, you're not that at all. But that's where I thought it could have been, that could have been realistic. I don't know about legally, but just logically, if she was like, I truly don't think you could be a murderer. I want like my son to have a father growing up. Like, I'll do it. But the way she said it, she was like, yeah, I'll say that. But like,
also,
that wasn't convincing at all.
Also, like, just Haley Fitzgerald would have, even if she didn't know about the backstabbing and
Haley
the
Fitzgerald?
back channel, she's his lawyer. She's the black lawyer.
Okay.
Even if like she didn't know about the back channeling and the backstabbing and like the feeding of information to the prosecutor, she knew about the 911 call.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Like
You have to know that's gonna come. And she also she didn't. They never told her about the call to the mother, right?
well,
Or
I think
no,
that
she knew about it, but she didn't.
I
She
think
never
she-
expected the prosecution to know. Like, did they ever tell the black lawyer that?
no, I
spoke to
would
the mother?
I would bet they didn't.
Yeah, I mean,
So that's like the back channeling she couldn't have predicted.
Yeah, right.
But you could have been like, well, this isn't evidence.
Where
And
she
it's you
says,
saying
"I'm
you're-
afraid, I'm terrified."
whatever.
Yeah.
Like maybe don't put her on the
and
stand.
that was sucked because she went from like the most pit bull lawyer to like she had like glaring holes
Yeah.
in her case. But the reaction of that I thought was a very cool. That was a good secondary twist. I think they could have gone for like a stupid Hail Mary where it was like the lawyer, Hugh Grant's mother did it or something
Right.
stupid like that. And instead the twist was like Nicole Kidman doing this backstabbing double cross thing, which I thought was very cool.
I thought
like
it was
the
good.
moment, like I remember as I was watching, I was like, oh, wait a minute. Oh shit, she's doing it. And they're like, when she starts objecting to everything, and it was like, oh, they're spiraling. I thought that was very
I actually
that was very
got mad
satisfying.
about that because I actually did like get up and like go get a drink or something because I was like, this is so, like it just never in a million years would she put her on the stand. She just
Yeah.
wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
And then
But
maybe
I think she could have if it was more of a convincing. She just didn't even really convince.
she didn't
him.
try to convince her.
Yeah, like I think you could make a case where it was like, no, I've come around. I'm mad at him for like cheating, but I don't think he murdered someone. But he was just like, she was just like, yeah, I'll do it.
Or
You gotta give me more than that.
How about
Nikki.
this, fucking Hugh? If you're gonna, what is it in The Departed when he's like, next time I ask you to bury a body in the marsh, bury it in the marsh.
Fucking get
If you're gonna put a goddamn fucking murder weapon in a fire pit, how about you light it on fire?
Yeah. I mean,
What is the point of putting it in a fire pit if you're just gonna leave it in the fire pit?
That was nuts.
Or just throw it in the lake
and it's
you're at.
covered in blood at the time.
Right.
Like
Like,
you
didn't
didn't-
even
and
clean it
The
up.
fucking son knew to put it in a dishwasher. At least you could have done that.
Which I don't know if I really believe that either.
No,
I
but
don't
at
know
least
how
he
realistic
tried.
it is that like a 10-year-old is like, I should probably clean all the blood off this.
That was some wacky shit at the end, though, when he's trying to like sing to his son and stuff. They really hammered home the craziness
Yeah.
of it all. But I also my biggest thing is the whole idea that Hugh Grant was some sort of charming, charismatic. Every room he walked in, everybody loved him. I mean, throughout the entire movie, throughout the entire thing, he's just an asshole.
Yeah, you
Oh,
said
when-
that.
when he was accusing his son. That is low.
Oh,
That
I-
is some low shit.
In that moment, I was like, well, I was still
Maybe,
believing it.
maybe, yeah,
I
yeah.
thought once at the end of episode 5, I was like, okay, he did it. That's when I'd gone through with everybody and been like, okay, it could have been them, it could have been them.
But then during the episode, you were questioning it.
At the end of episode 5, I think I texted you.
Yeah.
I was like, it's
No,
obviously
but
not.
when he was accusing his son, you were like,
I was like, if he's 100% sure it wasn't
Yeah.
him, then
Well,
then it's a fair guess.
there was like when he was like, I ran it through the dishwasher. Hugh Grant goes, "Fuck!"
Yeah.
and it felt like really genuine. Like that was going to be his out,
Yeah.
and now he doesn't have it. So I was like, oh wow, that was really convincing. So that part, I could see him being like the sociopathic, like he can put on a front, but. Like when she was like, "Oh, I've got the most charming asset," like I had never seen him be charming.
I mean, he was charming on that show. When he was on TV, he was
I didn't
charming.
even think of that as charming. I thought of that as like he when he was
Compelling?
Like, I loved her.
How about
Yeah.
that?
They said compelling in the show. I
Okay.
think he tried to go for like a sympathetic move when he was like, people forget I did like love this girl. I lost someone I loved, but I never thought of him as like this smooth debonair, like could sell ketchup popsicle to a woman in white gloves sort of thing. But I also think that he's Hugh Grant. He's got an accent. He's got in real life, he's got like a reputation about him, so it plays on the show. But my biggest thing was that I never thought of him as that. I thought to me he seemed like a blubbering mess asshole the whole fucking time.
I didn't think that. I wouldn't say I was that extreme with it, but you're right. I had been thinking that just because they repeatedly told me that, so I just kept being like, "Oh yeah, of course he's
I
charismatic."
think of
And
it
then when you were
as
finally
like
oh,
Ryan
wow.
Gosling in Crazy Stupid Love,
Right.
That's what I feel like he was supposed to be. Like the way he dresses, the way he looks, the way he greets people and talks to them. It's like, whoa, I am under your spell. And they just said that, so I understood that was like
Right, like
the
every
character.
woman is like, oh, like, we love
Yeah,
your husband.
yeah.
And
But-
you're right though. Like when you look at it, you're like, why?
Like him, he's kind of over the hill and like
He's a little haggard.
Yeah.
Although he looked good in the car at the end.
yeah.
There were like a lot of like scenes where like he's like, oh, he's got bad light here. Like he's all bagged up.
Yeah, he's got
and
droopy,
then
very
but then
droopy.
in the car, everyone looks good in the car. And
Is that so?
I think so.
I
like,
look great in cars.
I was gonna say, like, I used to think that about you, and then one time, like, I rarely have a car, so then I was
oh,
home,
I look good in a car too?
probably like for quarantine or whatever, and I was like, wait, I fucking look
Bro,
good in
my
this car.
eyes pop in a car.
Yeah, his eyes look great.
Like morning, noon, night. My eyes are like glistening blue. I'm like, this is great. I should just do we should do this podcast from a car. I mean,
Why don't you think he killed himself?
I think he was that. So like when he went for the hug with Nicole Kidman,
Yeah.
when she's running out on the bridge, like I think that showed just how crazy he was down to the very end, where he thought like,
I think that's why he stepped down.
Yeah.
He thought she was running for
right.
him.
He was like, oh, he says,
like,
what's, I don't know anybody's name on the show. I can't tell
Henry
you.
is the kid.
What's Nicole Kidman's name? Gun to my
Grace.
head. I would have never in a million years known that. I know. I say it's Hugh Grant, Nicole Kidman, Donald Sutherland, the son, the hot mistress, the bitch lawyer, the blonde friend. Those are the characters in my mind. I don't know anybody's name. Yeah, he says like Grace as he steps down.
Yeah.
like she.
I think he was
she's
like,
here.
he had that narcissistic
then
personality
he-
disorder. He's
yeah,
like, she still
yeah,
loves me.
right.
All right, it's worth it.
And even just like the singing in the car and like,
Yeah.
yeah, no, I think that was like he had gone full blown crazy over the edge, thinking like he had not gotten away with it, but was going to like somehow. He said it a couple scenes earlier. It was like, when I get through this, and I fucking well will. Like, no, you won't, bro.
No.
No, you won't. But overall, I mean, not since like, oh man. I mean, I'm trying to think of the last show that we were really speculating this much over like a one incident, you know, like who did this or
I
who.
mean, probably Thrones,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
Yeah,
I don't
definitely.
know what else it even could have been.
Yeah. So like good on them. I mean, obviously this is a one-time like limited engagement thing, but keep the formula rolling and like keep give me some A-list stars, give me some not great writing, but some fun, entertaining writing.
Give me a good fucking intro too. Nicole Kidman crushes that.
Yeah. Yo, that also, I mean, to tie into what I like was saying to start, like a Sunday night 9 p.m. HBO show being a thing, like changes my life. Like I have something to look forward to. The Sunday scaries aren't as bad. Monday mornings, you got something to talk about. And like, we always say there's not many week-to-week shows left. And like, it's, I feel like I get like a rush of dopamine when I have like a 9 p.m. to look forward to, but I fucked that up last night.
I know.
I thought it was 10 p.m. And I'm also watching Murder on Middle Beach, the documentary on HBO, and so that was on at 10. So I thought Murder on Middle Beach was on at 9, and then this at 10. So then I was like, "Fuck, I missed it," and then I had to watch all of Murder at Middle Beach and then start, because they do. So I was gonna be up to like 12:30, and I was like already dozing as it was, and I was like, "Fuck!" So I actually watched it this morning.
Oh,
I didn't
really?
even. I turned my phone off. I was like, I either have to stay up and watch this, but it was also like an hour and 20 minutes last night, so I was like dead tired. I was like, I'm not gonna make it. The last thing I want to do is like fall asleep in the middle of it. But I also was like, then I can't go on Twitter or anything right now. So I was like, I'm going to sleep. I'm just going to go to bed.
I was surprised that because you texted me at 10, I think, being like, "Don't text me," and come 11:30, I was like, "Where the fuck is his text?" Like, where I figured
I went the
you were
fuck
gonna
to sleep.
Have some takes on.
Yeah.
it.
No, I mean that was like, it's funny. It's a funny realization too that I was like, all right, can't open up like Twitter. Like probably can't even like open up Instagram. You never know.
But
what you're gonna see
you
there.
have the app on your. Don't you have like a Fire Stick TV?
Yeah.
You could just put it on then.
HBO like Go was down or whatever.
Oh, really?
So that's how so last night, like HBO Go, HBO Now, HBO Max, all that shit was like not available.
See, it worked for me. It didn't work in my living room, and then we switched to the bedroom, and we have like in the living room we have Roku.
Maybe
and
that's what it was.
in
This
the-
was on a Roku. It was saying like error,
Yeah,
like unknown error occurring.
and then we switched to the
And
bedroom.
then I
We
had
have a Fire
tweeted,
Stick.
and people were like, "What the fuck is this?" So I mean, having streaming problems on a finale night is like
It
not
was
acceptable.
Very frustrating.
Yeah.
Because I have cable, and I just haven't had them come hook up the cable boxes.
Yeah.
Because it's
Not
clean.
really worth it.
It's cleaner without them.
Yeah.
And then it just like I still pay for the Spectrum service because I have to for all the channels on the Roku.
Yeah.
But I just don't have the boxes out, and it's never a big deal until it's the biggest deal in the
Right.
world. So
And
it's like it's
if
usually
I
like,
miss
okay, I'm like
this-
10 seconds behind on the game. I don't really care that much. And
not
then
being
it's-
able to go. I mean, I realize just how much I'm like ultimately plugged in now. It was like I got nothing to do. I'm just gonna go to sleep. Like, I cannot do anything. Even Alex Sulkin, from Family Guy, was texting me, and I was just like, I don't want to get a surprise text from anybody. I also don't want to sit there and go through like everyone I know watching, and be like, don't text me, don't text me, don't text me. So it's like I just have to truly unplug, which was. It's a sobering moment where it's like, oh my God, this is my entire life as we know it. But more of that, please. Give me some more, give me more of that type of formula of like entertaining or, either be great or be entertaining. It's when you go in that middle that you totally fail. Listen, if you made it this far into the video,
which is far, like no one ever does that on the internet.
like it's the end. You made it to the end of the video.
Full fucking video
You watched
did.
the whole thing. So if you liked it and you watched the whole thing, why don't you subscribe?
It means you like us.
Click the subscribe button, because if you don't, I'm going to fucking murder John.
And I'm gonna like it.
Kill him with my bare fucking hands.
Yeah.
And if you weren't sold on this video, there's plenty more. Watch what's next up and then subscribe. But just subscribe so I don't have to fucking kill him.
Well, I don't know. Do what you want, but subscribe. Probably.